My name is Clara Winston, and I am 30 years old. I live in the lively town of Silverstone, a place where the streets buzz with friendly faces and the scent of freshly brewed coffee wafts through the air. As a graphic designer, I embrace creativity and innovation. However, there has always been a shadow lurking behind my self-doubt. Despite my skill, I often grappled with imposter syndrome that made me feel inadequate. So when I encountered a colleague named Ellie, I was eager to prove my worth in our industry. Ellie was an enigma. She hailed from a traditional region of our country where strict cultural norms often dictated one's life path. She bravely cut ties with her family to carve out a new life for herself in Silverstone. She studied hard, worked diligently, and even dated outside the confines of her upbringing. At first, I admired her tenacity, and it made me feel proud to know such a determined woman. But as I got closer to her, I began to see another side of her. One afternoon, Ellie approached me with a request that seemed harmless enough. She wanted me to create a commission for her. The payment she offered was shockingly low, and at the time, my insecurities clouds my judgment. I accepted it, not wanting to turn her down. I worked diligently on that task and gave it my all, yet once it was done, I pushed it aside and forgot about it. Fast forward a few years, and my world was turned upside down. I received a message from a potential client who had seen my work in an online portfolio and wanted to verify if I was the original creator. The attached screenshot made my heart race. As I opened it, I realized horror had struck. It was my work, but there was Ellie's name attached to it. Apparently, she never told anyone that she had commissioned me. Instead, she passed my work off as her own in a project for that client. The revelation made my stomach churn. That project never saw the light of day, and both Ellie and I had moved on to different jobs, so I tried my best to let it go. I buried the seed of betrayal deep within me. Years later, my then-employer had an opening, and Ellie applied. I remembered the plagiarism and how she had taken credit for my work, so I made the decision to share the truth with our boss. When they learned about Ellie's actions, they promptly rejected her application. I hoped this would be the end of it, a fitting consequence for her actions. But fate had its own plans. A former coworker of ours reached out later and revealed the troubling news. Ellie, after enduring setbacks in her career and personal life, had returned to her traditional hometown, humiliated and defeated. She was once a woman trying to redefine her world, but now was back in the culture that expected her to conform to its rigid standards. Just like that, I found myself unsympathetic to her plight, but a small part of me felt a twinge of guilt. Perhaps I had gone too far. Eventually, I forgot about her and focused on my life, but the memory lingered. I thought Ellie would dust herself off and find her way again. Yet every now and then, I heard whispers of her struggles, her parents ready to arrange her marriage. It was a shattering reminder of the implications of my actions. I had a decision to make. I wanted to strike back at the ethics of our industry, to show that actions have consequences. My revenge was fueled by years of feeling unnoticed and overlooked. I wanted Ellie to feel the fallout of her choices. Maybe her family would see that she no longer had the power she had once grabbed so desperately. But as I sat with that knowledge, I realized that revenge never satiates the soul, it only ignites a cycle of bitterness. I contacted her, and with every word I typed, I felt both anger and heartache. I told her I was aware of what had happened, the pain of returning home, and the pressures that awaited her. As I pressed send, a surge of emotion washed over me. I concluded I could just let her wallow in her defeat, or encourage her to rise above the nightmare I had inadvertently helped to create. The path had twisted in ways I could never have imagined. Eventually, reaching out instead of reveling in revenge led my heart to a place of unexpected resolution. After that, I focused on my own life path, allowing my creativity to flourish. I started volunteering in local arts programs, guiding artists like myself who had once felt overshadowed. Months passed, and I discovered that every soul has their battles. The urge for revenge transformed into understanding. I had come full circle. Perhaps I had learned that we are all works in progress, for just as Ellie nearly lost her dreams, I had been on the brink of losing mine as well. Life is too fragile to waste on grudges. The unexpected twist. I found out that Ellie had started her own design studio back in her hometown, a blend of tradition and modernity that reflected her journey. It was an artistry I later admired, recognizing that she found her strength despite the challenges. In the end, my story, just like hers, was about redefining oneself and embracing the unexpected turns of life.